Isadoramoon Gets in Trouble. Chapter 1. It was Sunday afternoon, and I was hopping up and down with excitement by the kitchen window. My witch fairy cousin Mirabel was coming to stay for a whole week. It's been ages since you last saw her, said Mom, who was busy baking a cake especially for Mirabel arrived. She was using her wand to stir the mixture, and the little sparkles kept shooting out of the bowl. I know, I said. I thought of some good games we could play with the dollhouse this time. Lovely, said Mom. Suddenly, Pink Rabbit started bouncing up and down on the kitchen counter and pointing his paws towards the window. Pink Rabbit used to be my favorite stuffed toy, so my mom magicked him alive. She can't do things like that because she's a fairy. She's here! I yelled. Mom, look! Mom stopped stirring for a moment, and we watched as Mirabel swooped down onto the front garden on her broomstick. She was very glamorous. I wish I had broomsticks, I said wishfully. Mom gave me a hug. Wings are much nicer than broomsticks, she said. She put a ball on the cake's mixture down, and we both went outside into the front garden. Mirabel, I shouted, running towards her and giving her a big, comfy hug. It's so good to see you. It's good to see you too, cried Mirabel, hugging me back. She was wearing a pointy black hat and a pair of shiny lace-up boots, which looked very fashionable. Where's Uncle Bartholomew? Asked Mirabel as we made our way up the stairs towards my turret bedroom. Oh, he will be asleep still, I told her. Remember, Dad always sleeps through the day. He can't bear the sunlight. He'll be up at 7 o'clock in the evening for breakfast. But just then I heard a chatting coming up, clattering coming up, and landing about. Dad whooshed down the stairs and towards us, his vampire cape billowing out behind him. Ah, he cried, my favorite, nice. Hello, Uncle Bartholomew, said Mirabel. I like your cape. Well, thanks, boomed Dad. This pure velvet, you know. Dad loved Gad's conlimpables. Vampires are very, very kind of glooming. Come on, Mirabel, I said, pulling her fast, Dad, and the last light of the stairs. I've got something to show you. Ta-da! I said as I opened the door. In the middle of my room sat the dollhouse. I had covered my fairy lights. And look! I pointed at the miniature dining room. I set up a welcome tea party for you. Inside the tiny room there was a tiny table, and on the tiny table there was a tiny fist. All the food is real, I said proudly, even the teeny sandwich. They took me 8 to make, and look! The sweets are made from the cake sprinkles. Mirabel gasped. She picked up one of the sandwich and popped into her mouth. Peanut butter, she said, my favorite. Mine too, I said happily. We sat down and ate the food together while Pink Rabbit bounced around the room. He was excited that Mirabel had come here too. I'll go and fill up the pool with water, I said, brushing clumps over my dress. Last time Mirabel came, we made a swimming pool from the doll out of the ice cream tub and a water slide from the plastic tubs stuck together. The slide was etched the roof of the house and twirled all the way down into the pool. I hurried out onto the room at the bedroom and back down into the ice cream tub, sopping with water. I also had an idea, I said as I put the tub on the bottom of the slides. I thought we could make some dolls and look exactly like us. A Mirabel doll and an Isadora doll to lift the house and go down the slides. I had loads of scraps of fabric. I think it'll be fun. I want my doll to wearing a black tutu. Said Mirabel. Her eyes sounded sparkling mysteriously. I could tell she was having one of her ideas. I've got a better plan, she said. Playing with dolls is boring. Let's be the dolls. What do you mean? I asked. Let's shrink ourselves, said Mirabel. I made the potions. Then we can go inside the dollhouse and slide down the slides ourselves. It'll be so fun. She got out her little traveling cartoons from her suitcase and started to pour things into them from tiny glass bottles. I watched and waited, feeling excited and nervous at all the same time. Are you sure nothing would be wrong? I said. Of course it wouldn't, said Mirabel. She tipped a jar of pink glitter into the cartoon and stirred it. I peered it. It wasn't a liquid potion, but a powdery one. Mirabel remained in her suitcase again and pulled the fluffy powder puff into the wash bag. Now let me just dab a little bit into your arm, she said. A small bit will only last 20 minutes or so. I held out my arms and Mirabel dabbed one of the powders onto the puff. I sat there and waited. All of a sudden, I felt a tingling in my fingers and then, poof! There was a cloud of pink glittery smokes and I landed on the soft thumbs and squeezy carpet. I was tiny. Mirabel tours over me like a giant. Come on! I shouted up at her in a high, squeaky voice. It's your turn! Mirabel burst out laughing. Your voice, she squeaked. You sound like a mouse. She rocked towards her and backwards, laughing until her stomach hurt. Okay, she said. My turn. She dabbed some powder onto her arm, and there was another poof of pink glittery smokes. Here I am, she squeaked, suddenly appearing next to me. Look how tiny we are. Together we made our way into the dollhouse and up to the stairs. We are almost at the roof, then we hear the loud thumping sound coming from the outside the house. What's that? I whispered, grabbing on Mirabel's arm. There's something outside. We peered outside the window, and I breathed a sigh of relief. Phew! It's just Pink Rabbit, I said, bouncing around. Poor Pink Rabbit. He didn't see us making the potions. He's probably wondering where we are. Pink Rabbit was indeed looking very confused. He was hopping around the traveling cartoon, blinked his beady button eyes worriedly. I leaned up the dollhouse. Pink Rabbit! I called my high, squeaky voice. Over here! Pink Rabbit looked up and saw me. He wagged his ears in surprise. Then, before I could say something else, he jumped right into the cartoon, completely covering himself with a powdery potion. There was a huge puff of pink glittery smokes. Uh-oh, said Mirabel as we watched the now miniature Pink Rabbit bouncing around the cartoon and across the carpet into the dollhouse. What? I said. Pink Rabbit wouldn't mind being tiny. He just wanted to join in. It's not that, said Mirabel. He's covered his whole body on the potions. He's going to be tiny for days. Oh, I said, started to in a panic. Well, there's nothing we can do about that, said Marable, as Pink Rabbit came bouncing around the stairs on my arms. Let's not worry about that. Let's go and have fun. The three of us ran down the rest of the stairs onto the roof of the dollhouse, where a top of slide was. This is going to be amazing, said Marable. You go first, Isadora. I peered down at the slides. It looks very steep and twirling up here. The pool at the bottom suddenly seemed very deep. I had only just learned how to swim underwater. It's okay, I said. You can go first, Marable. Marable's eyes flashing wickedly. Don't be a scary cat, Isadora, she said. Go on, I dare you. I put my foot tentatively on the top of the slide. But Pink Rabbit hates getting wet, I pointed out. I should probably stay up here with him. Pink Rabbit wouldn't mind, said Marable. He can't wait here. Anyway, you've got wings. You can always fly off when the slide you don't like it. This was true. Okay, I said, putting my other foot onto the slides and sitting down. I closed my eyes and held my nose on my fingers. 1, 2, 3, go! Shouted Marable, giving me a little push. I was off. Whee! I squealed as I swished downwards, twinkling and turning, my hair flying beside me. Round and round, I spirited until splash! I landed on the ice cream tub full of water. Wow! I gasped, coming up from the air and spraying water everywhere. That was amazing! Just then, there was another splash and Marable came flying off the slides and into the water beside me. That's so fun, she said. Come on, Isadora, let's do it again. I grabbed her hand and we flew back into the roof. Marable went first this time and I followed her. We tried to slide on our front and our backs and going down together. Each time we landed on the wonderful splash in the top of the water. I was halfway down the side of the force when I suddenly felt a tingling in my fingers. Oh no, I thought, but before I could do anything, there was a poof of pink glittery smokes. Help! I shouted and my body switched back into normal size and I landed with the top on the carpet, crushing the whole slide beneath me. Quickly, I peered Marable and Pink Rabbit off the roof of the dollhouse and sat down on the carpet. There was another poof and Marable appeared, full size, standing beside me. Pink Rabbit was still the size of the bottom. I picked him up so he could see me on my hand. The pool slides, I said sadly, staring at it, crushing next to the dollhouse. We should have been more careful with the potions. You worry too much, said Marable. We can always make another one. I know, I said, but I'm sad it's broken. Just then I heard Mom calling us from the downstairs. Isadora! Marable! Breakfast time! I looked down my hand were a tiny Pink Rabbit and bounced up and down. I couldn't let Mom and Dad see him in that state. Carefully, I placed him on the bed. You have a nap, Pink Rabbit, I said to him. Hopefully, you'll be right size when we get back.